What if the most powerful lesson your child ever learns is not something you said out loud, but something you did without even thinking about it? That is the part of parenting people often miss. We tend to believe children learn mainly from instructions, from advice, from rules, from correction. We think if we explain things clearly enough, repeat them enough, and discipline often enough, the message will sink in. But children do not learn life that way. They learn by watching. They watch your face when you are stressed. They watch your voice when you are tired. They watch how you treat people when you are in a good mood and when you are in a bad one. They watch what you do when nobody is praising you. They watch how you speak to your family, how you react to inconvenience, how you handle embarrassment, how you talk about yourself, and how you behave when life does not go your way. And the strange part is this: they are usually learning from the moments you think matter least. A child does not need a perfect parent. That is not the point. No parent gets that right. Every parent gets tired, impatient, distracted, and overwhelmed. The issue is not perfection. The issue is repetition. Whatever behavior appears again and again in front of a child starts to feel normal to them, and what feels normal to a child often becomes what they copy. That is why this question matters so much. Should children copy what you do? The honest answer is simple: they already are. The real question is whether what they are copying is helping them grow, or quietly teaching them habits that will hold them back. And this is where parenting gets uncomfortable, because children do not only copy the good things. They do not selectively absorb your best moments and ignore the rest. They are taking in the whole picture. If they see anger used as a daily response, they learn that anger is power. If they see disrespect used casually, they learn that respect is optional. If they see excuses every time something goes wrong, they learn that accountability is weak. If they hear one standard from your mouth and a different standard from your behavior, they learn that consistency is not real. Children are pattern learners. They may not be able to explain it in adult language, but they understand patterns better than many adults do. They notice what gets repeated. They notice what gets rewarded. They notice what gets ignored, and they store all of it. That is why a child who watches a parent raise their voice in every conflict often starts to do the same. Not because they are bad, not because they are difficult, but because that is the first emotional language they have been exposed to. It becomes familiar, and familiar behavior is easy to copy. The same thing happens with kindness. A child who regularly sees calm correction, patient listening, polite speech, and respectful boundaries learns that those things are normal too. They do not need a long lecture on character. They are living inside a demonstration of character. That is the deep psychology of parenting. Children learn by imitation long before they learn by reflection. They do not ask, "What should I become?" They ask, without words, "What does life look like here?" And the answer comes from you. So if your home is full of shouting, your child learns that shouting is how people solve problems. If your home is full of sarcasm, your child learns that emotional distance is normal. If your home is full of inconsistency, your child learns that rules change depending on mood. If your home is full of calm routines, mutual respect, and steady behavior, your child learns something very different. They learn that life can be organized, that emotions can be managed, that mistakes can be corrected without humiliation, that people can be firm without being cruel. That is why your example matters more than your lectures. A parent can say, "Use your words," but if the parent explodes under pressure, the child learns the opposite lesson. A parent can say, "Be kind," but if the parent is rude to waiters, relatives, or neighbors, the child sees the real standard. A parent can say, "Work hard," but if the child watches avoidance, procrastination, and constant excuses, the words lose weight. Children do not remember your slogans as much as they remember your patterns. And that is the uncomfortable truth many parents try to avoid. But there is also good news hidden in this truth. Because the same mechanism that makes children absorb bad behavior also makes them absorb good behavior. If they watch a parent pause before reacting, they learn self-control. If they watch a parent admit a mistake, they learn humility. If they watch a parent apologize sincerely, they learn accountability. If they watch a parent stay calm during pressure, they learn emotional regulation. If they watch a parent keep promises, they learn trust. If they watch a parent treat the weak with respect, they learn character. This is why parenting is less about performing authority and more about living it. Children are not waiting for the perfect speech. They are waiting for a model they can follow. And that leads to the biggest parenting strategy of all. Model the behavior you want repeated. Not once, not only when you are watched, but consistently enough that it becomes the atmosphere of the home. If you want a respectful child, speak respectfully. If you want a disciplined child, live with discipline. If you want a child who listens, learn how to listen. If you want a child who can calm down, let them see you calm yourself down. If you want a child who tells the truth, make truth the standard in your own home. That is not theory. That is how children are built. Now, let's talk about the part parents usually get wrong. Many parents try to fix behavior only at the surface level. They react to the visible issue without changing the environment that produces it. A child is rude, so the parent shouts. A child is stubborn, so the parent threatens. A child is careless, so the parent lectures. A child is emotional, so the parent dismisses. But none of that solves the root problem. If the child is copying what they see every day, then the correction has to go deeper than punishment. It has to go into the way the household works. That means clear routines. That means calm responses. That means consistent rules. That means visible respect. That means repeated reinforcement of the right habits. Because children do better when the expectations are simple and stable. They do not need 5 different explanations. They need one clear standard, repeated enough that it becomes familiar. And when they do get it right, they need to know it. Not with empty praise, but with specific recognition. Not good job, but you stayed calm even though you were frustrated. Not nice, but you waited your turn without interrupting. Not well done, but you told the truth, even though it was hard. Specific praise tells a child exactly what behavior is worth repeating. It sharpens the lesson. It turns a good moment into a learning moment. And when the child gets it wrong, correction should still teach instead of destroy. That is where many parents overreach. They confuse control with growth. They think being louder means being stronger. They think being harsher means being more effective. But children rarely become better because they were afraid. They become better because they understood. Firmness matters, absolutely. Boundaries matter, absolutely. Consequences matter, absolutely. But so does tone. So does patience. So does dignity. A child who is corrected without humiliation is more likely to learn than a child who is shamed into silence. And this is not soft parenting. It is smart parenting. Because the goal is not to win a moment. The goal is to shape a person. Now here is another truth parents need to hear. Your child is always reading the emotional climate of the home. They know when tension lives in a room. They know when a parent is carrying anger. They know when words are polite but energy is cold. They know when adults say one thing and mean another. That means parenting is not just about direct instruction. It is about atmosphere. Children grow in the atmosphere you create. A tense home creates tense children. A chaotic home creates confused children. A calm home creates steadier children. A respectful home creates more respectful children. This is why small habits matter so much. The way you greet people matters. The way you speak under pressure matters. The way you handle disagreement matters. The way you repair after conflict matters. The way you talk about yourself matters. Because your child is collecting all of it. And one day, they will use that same material to build their own behavior. That is why it is not enough to tell your child what not to do. You have to show them what to do. Do not just say, be patient, be patient. Do not just say, be calm, be calm. Do not just say be respectful, be respectful. Do not just say work through problems. Let them watch you work through problems. Do not just say sorry when you are wrong. Let them hear you apologize when you are wrong. That kind of parenting leaves a mark. It teaches without forcing. It shapes without shouting. It corrects without crushing. And over time, it creates a child who does not merely obey in the moment, but understands the standard. That is the kind of child every parent wants. So when people ask, is it good or bad for kids to copy what you do? The real answer is both simpler and more serious than that. It is good when what they copy is healthy. It is harmful when what they copy is harmful. Which means the responsibility is not on the child to magically sort out what should be repeated. The responsibility is on the adult to be worth copying. That does not mean you will never make mistakes. You will. It means when you do, you handle them in a way your child can learn from. You apologize. You reset. You do better next time. Because children are not only watching your victories, they are also watching your recovery. And that matters. A parent who handles mistakes with honesty teaches resilience. A parent who handles mistakes with denial teaches avoidance. A parent who handles mistakes with humility teaches strength. This is the heart of smart parenting. Not perfection. Not performance. Just intentional example. So the next time you are tempted to focus only on your child's behavior, pause and look at the bigger picture. Ask yourself, what is my child seeing every day? What is my child hearing from me regularly? What emotions am I modeling? What habits am I normalizing? What kind of adult am I teaching them to become? Because the truth is simple. Your child is learning from you constantly. Not just from your words, from your life. And that means the most powerful parenting tool is not control. It is example. That is why the home matters. That is why consistency matters. That is why calm discipline matters. That is why respect matters. That is why your daily behavior matters more than any perfect speech ever could. Your child is watching. And whether you like it or not, they are learning. So make sure what they learn from you is worth carrying into their future. That is how children grow. That is how habits are formed. That is how character is shaped. And that is how parenting really works.